Hey guys, I haven't done any build videos lately. I had a couple of videos of the planes I had stuff, and have built a couple drones, racing drones since then, and haven't really put any videos on. I built them myself, and I didn't really want to do no build videos because it takes time and all the editing videos and all that. So I just didn't want to do it. So, because there were such good build videos, and I just pretty much followed them with the bodies that I have. So, today I ordered a Space One, just a cheap uh, frame, but it was a pretty good deal, and the weight and stuff, the way I was looking at it, it looks like it's gonna be, it'd be a pretty fast machine. So I figured, what the heck. The last couple builds were, a little bit steep in price. So this one just wanted to save as much money as I could, because I had some like leftover parts and stuff I wanted to use from another frame that was just too heavy for this kind of stuff. And this frame looked small, and it was a 220, so I figured, what the heck, might as well try it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. So I can show you. So, Space One FPV. Like I said, I ordered it online. So, I wanted to build as cheap as possible, and this frame was pretty cheap. And I went online and looked at a bunch of frames, and this one caught my eye the most. So, let's just open it up. Velcro strap. Comes with stickers, obviously. Won't be using those at all for anything, I don't think. But that's basically it. See how simple it is? There's just unibody, 5mm frame. You can't go wrong. You have to be going pretty fast and hit something pretty solid to break that. As I've done before, so I was a little worried with getting carbon fiber, but this one's 5mm, it's saying, so we'll see. So there you go, that's it. Just bottom plate, top plate, camera mount, all the hardware, which is landing foam and the standoffs and nuts and bolts. So there you go, guys. That's the size frame I'm gonna use, and I figured I might as well see if I can build a fast racing machine. The other ones are pretty quick, but I have the 280 I'm not using, it's too heavy. So I have the extra motors. There's the motors I'll be using, the red bottoms. So those will be going on this machine. And I also have an extra set of KISS 24As. So very, very good. And I'll also be using KISS Flight Control, which is on its way, not here yet. And I'm just using a simple diatone PDB, and the reason I'm using it because I used it a few of them before. They're simple, they're small, and it's 5V and a 12V BEC built in. So, and they're also shaped like the KISS, so I really like them for that reason. So that's my power distribution board. Like I said, KISS ESCs, 24 amp racing edition. And as far as VTX, I haven't decided yet. Probably something small, maybe something from UBAT or something. I do have a couple, but this is pretty good, just a cheap one. I can't remember what it's exactly the name of it, but they're pretty good. But look how huge it is. It probably won't even fit in there. So yeah, I won't be using that. So just so we'll figure it out. But this is basically the start of it. I just wanted to get it on video, just to show, just to keep file of what I'm using so far. And like I said, I'm going to be building this one with the extra parts, and I will have to order probably a VTX, and I did order a KISS flight controller already, as I'm using one in my my Fossils 210, and also I'm using KISS ESCs in that one as well. So um, we'll see how this one goes. Like I said, it was cheap enough, you know. Buy one get one free, so it's nice and nice and small. So what I want to do is I want to see if I can build a fast machine. As it stands on the description, it says it's 113 grams, just the frame alone built. So that right there alone is a lot lighter, like 80 grams lighter than my 280. So here's what it looks like fully built. As you can see, it is really small, really simple. 12 bolts, 12 screws, I believe it was. 6 standoffs, or these pillars, and the 2 side plates for the camera mount. Done. So there you can see, it's pretty simple design. Now, as I said, I'm using the red bottoms. I have one already pre-cut. Now, I made it so it does have a little bit of play there. You'll have the wires will be able to be bent a little bit, and it'll go right there. As so, these are the very powerful racing motors, the RS 2205 2300 kVs racing spec. Red bottoms for short. Everybody knows them as. That's what I'll be using, as I had, like I said, I had them extra. And also, I just have it in the heat shrink just to protect it while I'm handling it. They're gonna go about like that. So you'll see that. And then what I'll do is after I solder everything up, I'll heat shrink that on there, and then I'll just heat shrink the whole ESC to the arm with just another shorter piece of heat shrink, and that'll just heat shrink right to the arm. So you'll get an idea. You get an idea right away of what I'm trying to do there. What I'll have to do is cut all 3 motors. I'll prepare those. I'll prepare those up next, and you can see what's going to happen with those. And yeah, as you can see, I got all the motors prepped now. All the wires are cut to length. Now all I'll have to do is pre-tin those, and bolt them on. They'll be ready to go. Now I will be taking the top plate off, and so that way I can stick everything back in. Work on it like that before I put the top plate, before I bother putting the top plate on at all, and that way you guys can see. So what I'll do next is I have the 4 KISS ESC 24 amp racing editions, flyarduino.net. So what I'll do is I'll pre-tin those, get all those wired up, heat shrink them up, get them ready to go on. Well, there it is, guys. So far, I have the motors all soldered in. ESCs are all soldered in. Power distribution board is mounted. Now, I'm not sure. I think I'm going to mount it upside down, and I might get a higher millimeter standoff just to bring it up a little more. And then, so what I believe for later is my X4R will fit right in here, but it'll have to kind of slide under there a bit to fit here. And then I'll be able to come up with the antennas. So looks a little bit like a rat's nest, but I believe once it's all snipped to where the lengths are, I believe I'm going to put the PDB upside down as well, so then it's kind of hiding this. Most of the wires won't be sticking out like that. Those will all be shorter and cut once I put everything in, because I am using telemetry on this. Like I said, these are KISS CSEs. So that's the stage I'm at right now. As we went through the stages, you seen what I did is motor 1 and motor 3. I used a little blob of solder and reversed the motor so I could just solder these normal. So there it is. It's all ready. The ESCs are mounted, like I said, and looks pretty good so far. I think this is going to be one mean machine. It's already, like I said, it's a lot lighter, and I think it's going to be fast. So we'll continue on. And like I said, we're still waiting for the KISS flight controller. That hasn't arrived yet, but I'll be able to solder in all the ESC wires, also the main battery in wire. I'm going to have that coming out the back through and under here. And then it'll be soldered to the board through there, and then that'll be like that. And then I'll solder the XT60 plug to there, and that'll be that. Now as I got everything else on, and I had trimmed up the wires, and I talked about how I'm going to probably have this upside down. Now, I haven't done it before in another build in order to keep all the electronics away, as this, has all the power and stuff, and so when it's flipped upside down, it stays away from anything on the flight control. But it makes for a harder time soldering. So what I'm going to do is, I think that's what I'll do, is I'm going to put it upside down. Now it makes for servicing and stuff like that. If it breaks, it makes it a little bit tougher if you take it all apart. But I believe it's going to be a little bit cleaner, and it'll look better if it's underneath and upside down. And that way, anything to do with the power will stay away from the flight control once the flight control is on top. And like I said, I used a little bit taller standoff. I got a little bit of room under there, so I think it'll work out pretty good. So I'm gonna get the iron on and get this ready, and I'll solder all the ESC power and grounds to the PDB. Okay, so I got all the ESC wires, power and ground. I got all them pre-tinned. I also went ahead and soldered my XT60 to the power in on the board. Also my 5 volts out, as I will be using a TBS Unify Pro V2, I believe it is. It runs off 5 volts. It's nice and small, compact. It'll be perfect for this little build. So like I said, I'm going to be mounting this upside down, and you'll see, like, this is the way it's going to go, like this now. So once I have it all soldered in, you'll see my power in will have room. And as an example, this isn't the receiver I'll be using. I'll be using an X4R. So when these wires are out of the way and whatever, this will be able to fit, slide underneath a little ways, and then the wires will be running to the front where the KISS does actually going to hook up. So yeah, it'll be tight, but there'll be room, and it'll look clean still. So what I like to do as good practice is just get my handy dandy voltmeter out, and I can check for continuity. As you can see, I think my wires are no good in this thing, but I'll take the power distribution board off, and then I'll quickly see, this is continuity. This will tell you if you have a short. So what I'll normally do is I'll run between the power and ground. See, ground, power. This should go off. Yeah, that's power, ground, power, ground, ground, power. As you can see there, we have no continuity, so these wires are good. They're not touching in any way, shape, or form. So I like to just do it because I'm going to be putting this on now, bolting after it's soldered and bolted in. I'll check it again just to make sure all my soldering went well, and then before I bolt it in and down, because like I said, it's going to be harder to work on as this will be upside down. So it'll be a lot of work to take it all off and apart. So like I said, I'll check it after I solder it in. I'll check it again. If everything is good, we'll be good to go. So what I'm going to do is, since this is the back over here, is I'm going to start like this. I'll use my helping hands here to hold the board for me as best as it possibly can for you. And then I'll be able to take my power and my ground from both ESCs, if I can find it, and run them up here and solder them in. So yeah, I'll have to figure out a way that I can hold that better. So what I did is I just moved everything around just so I could get at it better for you. So like I said, I'm just going to solder it all in. I'll be able to flip it, and I believe I'll have to take these motors off in order to get them flipped around to solder this side on. Then I'll be able to just place it back on. Shouldn't be a problem. A little bit tedious, but you know, I believe in the end it should look pretty decent. So what I want to do is I'll take this ground, put it here, put some solder on there already, apply the heat. Now you have to make sure you get the bottom soaked together. That could have been a better. But I'm going to move it, because that is not a very good solder job. Well, I think it'll hold. So for the power, get some solder on there too. Get the power on there. Get it touching. Like I said, make sure you wet the whole thing. You'll notice it get all wet, the whole show. Pad, the pad too. You gotta make sure the pad gets wet. Done. So that's the first one. Ground and power. So like I said, once it goes on, it'll look just like that. So that'll be hopefully down and out of the way enough. Keep it up. Good. So what we'll do is we'll get this up in the air here for the next one. Take these, move them real quick. When I set the SCs up, so the ground is easier and everything's just a little bit easier to where it should be, instead of what I did was I had to flip a couple of ESCs over, and where the ground should be where the ground is, and stuff like that. This makes it easier, the soldering easier. I can't get this. Forever having problems with the ground. For some reason, on grounds on this whole build, it starts with the KISS, with the ESCs. The ground is very hard to solder. And those of you who've ever soldered KISS ESCs know that it is tough to get on there, as is these grounds for some reason. There we go. I think I got her now. And the most important thing is, as we all know, is that none of these actually touch each other, because that grate is short, and that would not be good. Not at all. So, and as with soldering, as you do it more and more, you get better. When I first started, I was pretty bad, so it's not easy. But there you go. So, looks pretty good actually. Once these wires are in, we'll see how clean that looks. These will be up in here. There's the KISS mount, they all mount in the back. So those will all be soldered there. These front ones will come underneath here, between the power distribution and the flight control, will come under and up. And we'll solder like that, so it'll look pretty good, I think. So far so good, and it should look pretty clean considering how many flipping wires there is. But so now I think what I'm gonna have to do is, since those are soldered in, I might have to be able to flip this around and over. Get these wires out of the way. What I'm going to have to do is take this motor off, flip it around. Use the helping hands to hold it. Solder the motors on, the last two. Flip it back over as I go, flip it over, and it'll be connected. And I think that'll be our best bet. That's the problems with putting it upside down to try to make it look clean like that, is that, you know, everything's going to be upside down and make it a little bit harder, but it's possible. You know, I've done it a few times already. Or like I said, I have put it upside down because on some of my two of my builds, the flight controller is a lot closer to the power distribution board, so none of this would be able to clear without touching. So if you didn't use liquid tape or anything, you'd probably short out something somewhere. So like I said, I'll just flip it up like this, and I'll take the motors off, get them flipped over, and solder those on.